Gurubhyo Namaha. A very warm welcome to yet another session of Weekend with Wisdom. Let me begin with a prayer. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Namaste, Shubhodaya. Very warm welcome to everyone. Today's Weekend with Wisdom, we have Shri Krishna Kashyap ji joining us from Bangalore. Thank you, sir, for making time for this session. We are very grateful to you. Today, and he will be speaking on a very interesting topic, the three Vedantic perspectives on Ishavasya Upanishad. As most of the viewers will be knowing, Ishavasya Upanishad is one of the shortest Upanishad with only 18 mantras, but at the same time, it is most profound in its teachings, and also it is a Upanishad which has which is structured in such a way that it gives itself opens itself for a very multiple, very diverse approaches and interpretations of the text. So a very beautiful text, and Sri Krishna Kashyap ji will be speaking about how the text could be understood from Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, and Advaita perspective. Before we go further, just a bit introduction to the speaker. Sri Krishna Kashyap has devoted significant time to study Vedanta, Samskrita, Yoga, and other things for over the last several decades. He was an engineer and businessman by profession. Currently, he is retired and lives in India after working in US for around 39 years. Sri Krishnaji has studied Samskrita Vyakarana, Kavya, and Tarka, and he has also studied various, Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, Advaita, and various teachers as well. So he comes from a very very diverse and very comprehensive background. Some of his teachers include Mahamahopadhyaya, N.T. Srinivas Iyengar, Vidwan Ananta Krishna Shastrigal, Sri Rangapriya Swamiji, Vidwan Anantacharya, Mahamahopadhyaya Korada Subramanian ji, Vidwan Sri Sampath Iyengar. So many teachers he has studied under them, and he has been teaching Bhagavad Gita commentaries of Sri Shankaracharya, Sri Ramanujacharya, and Sri Madhvacharya for many years now, and he has taught a few courses for Hindu University of America on this Advaita, Dvaita, and Vishishta Advaita. So we are very happy to have you, sir. Very looking forward to the lecture. Please go ahead and start.
Thanks, everyone.
Your voice is not.
Can you hear me better now?
No, it's not at all audible. Some issue, I think.
I don't think so. Yes, I think it's very hard.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
It's okay. Do you have a headset or something, the mic or something that you can speak to?
I can try my headset here. I have some problem with the headset. That is why. Hold on a second. I have to bring my headset. You want me to try?
No, now you're audible. I think you can speak as it is now.
Yeah. Now am I audible? Audible?
Yes, you're audible now.
Okay. Just make sure. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me jump right into the lecture. I'll share my screen, so I'll go use a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So what I will be talking is Trimata Bhashya, overview of Trimata Bhashya, just essence on the Ishavasya Upanishad. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Let me see why it is not okay. Yeah. So I want to just give a simple disclaimer here. I'm still learning. I'm not an expert. I'm not even realized for sure. And don't expect that you know Brahman by knowing all this, just a lecture or anything like that, because Brahman cannot be known by lecturing or teaching or listening. And I'm trying to do a difficult job here of summarizing the three views on the Ishavasya Upanishad, and in 1 hour it is very difficult to do. So usually this takes about 26 hours of class just to touch the surface, just scratch the surface. Maybe even not even that. So now I'm combining 26 hours of lectures in 1 hour. It seems to be an impossible task, but let me try. Namaste, everyone. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. Now I'll start. The structure of this lecture would be, please hold on to your questions till the end. So please write down, pick up a pen and paper or something and write down your questions. Focus on what I'm trying to say. I will try to do about 20 minutes per bhashya. It would be lopsided a little bit. I will give more time to the first bhashya I'm going to talk about on the Ishavasya Upanishad. I'm going to take it chronologically. That means first would be Shankara Bhashya. Then comes the Vishishtadvaita Bhashya. It is not exactly Ramanuja Bhashya. It is actually a Bhashya from Vedanta Deshika, from the Vishishtadvaita point of view. Then I will take up Madhva Bhashya at the end. So this is how I'm going to structure my lecture. And at the end, about 10-15 minutes, we will have for question answer. So now this is a focus on Shravana or just hearing now, right? Okay. I'm just going to show you what we are talking about. Where are the Upanishads hiding here? The 14 sources of our dharma are indicated here. The Vedas, the Vedangas, Upangas, like Mimamsa, Nyaya, Dharma Shastras, Puranas, and other things, right? They are the 14 sources of knowledge. Vedas are the main, and the Upanishads are a part of the Vedas. So, and Ishavasya Upanishad is the first Upanishad. So Ishavasya Upanishad comes from the Shukla Yajurveda, which is shown here from Shukla Yajurveda, portion of Shukla Yajurveda. Okay. And now comes the important issue here. Why are there so many interpretations of the Upanishad? And when you think about concrete things like a tree or a tiger or a sun, or something which we can experience, which we can see, we won't have much difference of opinion about those objects. But when we talk about Atman, self, mind, ego, ahamartha, consciousness, Paramatma, Ishvara, Brahman, they are beyond our senses. So language can only take you so long, or so it can give you so much, but we cannot get the experience of all those things just by language, whether it is Sanskrit or any language. for that matter. So interpretation is difficult, and there may be different views. And don't think that these acharyas, Shankaracharya, Vedanteshika, and Madhvacharya, have any issues with their Sanskrit. They know Sanskrit very well. I'm sure it'll be very hard for me to find anybody here in our whole group to match their Sanskrit. So we don't want to think about, is the Sanskrit justifiable, or did they do a mistake in their Sanskrit understanding? That doesn't work. They are very powerful in Sanskrit. They know what they're doing. They have given us the information. And now let's go further. Shankaracharya, let us take Shankara Bhashya now. I may take a little bit, few minutes more for Shankara Bhashya. I'll keep my watch right here so that way I know. It's 8:15 already. So within an hour, I have to cover almost everything here. All right. First thing Shankaracharya says, he gives an introduction to Ishavasya Upanishad. He says, first of all, these mantras are not for karma kanda, or they are actually for jnana. That is, to let everybody know the nature of Atman, which is the highest, which is Brahman, which is ever existent, pure, bodiless, all pervading. And these will be explained further in verses 7, 8 onwards. But Shankaracharya gives an introduction right at the beginning. Okay? First he says, who is dependent on karma? Jiva. Who is Jiva? Anybody who thinks that, I am the doer, I am the experiencer, karta bhokta, right? Anybody who thinks that he is a karta or a bhokta, or that is the enjoyer or experiencer or doer or an agent, he is certainly a jivatma. Then he will become subservient to the rules and regulations of the Vedas, say that do this, don't do this, or do these karmas, don't do these karmas. See, he will become subservient. Atman is not subservient to any rules or regulation. It is self-evident, existent, pure. That's the first introduction he gives. Just a second, let me place my screen properly here. Just give me a second. So Atman is not a result of any process. It cannot be transformed. It is not an output of any kind of process, and not an agent or an experiencer. Atman is Atman. This is what Shankaracharya says. Right? And the purpose of this Upanishad is to tell you the nature of Atman. And also Shankaracharya also clearly says the purpose of Gita is also, and Moksha Dharma is also to tell you the nature of the ultimate reality, Atman, which is one. So here, who should do karmas? The person who thinks that he is the doer. So who is stuck in this universe, who has things to do, who has a lot of stuff to achieve. So any person who has all those plans, he is a doer, and the karmas are enjoined for a jiva. And there are many of them. And why is this person thinking that he is a doer? That is due to adhyasa, or beginningless superimposition. This universe itself is a superimposition, right? And it's unreal, but only a knowledgeable person will know that it is unreal. But the rest of us, at least for me, rest of the people, they think that it is real. And they start acting, thinking, doing, hating, liking, all these kind of actions come in life. The adhyasa is a principle used in Advaita. The Dvaita and Vishishtadvaita use it in a different way. They call it Leela. We will come to that later. We'll just focus on Shankara Bhashya now. So the karmas are enjoined. The karma kanda is for the person who thinks that he needs to go to, first of all, he needs to get Brahma Varchas or brilliance here, or he has to go to Swarga or some good thing he has to get after death. And he has to be, he has to have some qualifications, and he can't be unhealthy or have any kind of defects. Such a person can study and do karmas. Particularly, this is for karmas, right? So these mantras, basically, what is the purpose of these mantras? Remove the ajnana or ignorance we have and give us the knowledge of the nature of Atman, and facilitate the rise of the knowledge of unity of Atman. That means everything is Atman only. This knowledge is what Ishavasya is telling us. And that will automatically help us destroy our grief and delusion. Shoka, moha. Moha is delusion, shoka is grief. So this whole universe is generally, everybody is subject to some kind of shoka or moha. And to get out of that, we need the knowledge of the unity of Atman. That's what Shankaracharya says. The first mantra. I'm going to only focus on certain mantras so that we'll get a good feel for what Shankaracharya means. What is Shankaracharya's bhashya of these shlokas? The first shloka is Ishavasya Midam Sarvam Etkincha Jagatyam Jagatena Tyaktena Bhunjitaha Magradaha Kasyasvit Dhanam. Everything, whatever you see, ought to be enveloped by Isha. Shankaracharya says, takes the Vasyamidam. Isha Vasyam means by Isha you need to cover everything up. Vasyam. So the Avasyam, basically Avasyam, envelop everything. So cover up everything in this universe with Isha. That is the only way for you to protect yourself. And to protect yourself, you have to give up everything, renounce everything. Do not go after anybody's wealth. Who does all this wealth belong to? So that we can explain a little bit. We'll go further. Shankaracharya points out in the first mantra, Isha is the ruler, Parameshwara, Paramatma. He is in everyone. He rules over everybody. He is the inner controller. And that is the true self. What should be covered up? The Jagat. Jagat is sentient things and insentient, sentient beings, insentient things. All this life and what we perceive, everything should be covered up by this Isha. With the firm conviction, I am all these things. Ahameva idam sarvam. I am everything. With this firm conviction, we have to cover everything up. Now comes. So he gives an example. Look, if bad odor is covered by a deodorant, right? Similarly, we have this false knowledge. I am an agent, I am a karta, I am a bhokta, I am an experiencer. I experience this world characterized by multiplicity. All this kartritva, bhoktritvadi lakshanam jagat dvaita rupam, the world of multiplicity, that has to be covered up, saying that basically doesn't exist. So what is this universe? That which continuously transforms. Names, forms, actions. Nama, Rupa, Karma. And Vikara means it continuously changes. Tomorrow it will be not like today. Ashvatta. So we have to give up everything other than Atman. And Paramartha Satya, or the Atman is the highest truth. Knowing that Atman is the only truth, the rest, the universe of transformations and any attachment to them should be given up. So for those people who have these three attachments, Ishanatraya, desire for progeny, desire for wealth, Vitteshana, Putreshana, Lokaishana, the desire for other worlds after death. All these things, if anybody has these three desires, they are not eligible to know Brahman. But if a person has none of these three desires, such a person does not have eligibility to do karma. He has to give up everything and walk. In fact, Shankaracharya quotes a particular verse, and he doesn't say where he picked it up from, and even probably the other people don't know where the statement comes. Na punareyat. He should go to the forest and don't look back, don't come back. Give up family, wealth, and everything and walk. So that's what he says. So how do you, if a person is a knower of Brahman, knower of Atman, what is the first principle? The person should be devoted to the Atman knowledge only after renouncing the desires and any attachments. But for those people who are preoccupied with the not self or with something which is anatma or other than Atman, all the millions of things in this universe, they are unable to do know Atman, so they have to do karma. Kurvaneveha karmani jiji vishe chatakam samaha evam tvayina nyatvathosti nakarma lipyate nare. This is a very important shloka. Shankaracharya says, only such a person who has all these desires should do Shastra Vihita karma. That is, whatever is prescribed in the Shastras according to whom it applies. They have to do Agnihotra and all those things. And if they wish to live 100 years, they should do so by doing all these karmas. And he says, without doing Shastra Vihita karma, such a person should not do. Doing any karma is not acceptable to Shankaracharya. There is no other way to avoid contamination other than doing Shastra Vihita karma. If you do those karmas which are not prescribed in the Shastras, like the Kamya karmas or anything which is desire oriented, then you will get stuck and you will get into deeper trouble of shoka and moha, that is sadness, grief, and delusion. You will not know what truth is. This is the same thing. So Vyasa has given two paths. Shankaracharya very clearly mentions this stuff with two paths. Nivritti Marga, Pravritti Marga. Pravritti Marga is for the ignorant, people who don't know Atman. Nivritti Marga is for Atmajnanis. And this he mentions from Moksha Dharma. So these two paths are separate for Shankaracharya. A person who is working in Nivritti Marga or Pravritti Marga cannot engage in Nivritti Marga. These are like two separate paths for separate aspirants. And they have separate eligibility criteria, which we already talked about. Next comes the mantra 4, where they talk about what is the nature of this Atman. And in this, he talks about this, it is all pervading. And then very nicely, he uses one term, Sarva Samsara Dharma Varjitam. Look at the samsara. Samsara is that which is changing, this universe. Samsara, Sarva Samsara Dharma Varjitam. So this Brahman, Atman, does not have any characteristics of this universe. Universe might have number of attributes, characteristics. None of it Brahman has. Sarva Samsara Dharma Varjitam. He could have said Sarva Dharma Varjitam. That means he has no characteristics at all. Atman has no characteristics. Did he say it? He did not. This is something to watch. But in many, many places, Shankaracharya uses Nirguna. So traditionally, all the followers of Shankaracharya and this one, they say when he uses the term Nirguna, that means Brahman has no attributes whatsoever. Obviously, the moment you say attribute, it has to be it has to refer to the universe. So it's very well put here. Just wanted to indicate it. I'm going to just skip to, so nature of Brahman is explained in a few verses, which is saying that, it is very distinct from what we know. Then comes this, the verse 6, Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyevanu pashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. I'm only picking up the main verses so that we focus on the ideology or the concepts of Advaita interpretation. One who sees every living being within oneself and oneself in every living being will not feel disgusted. So what does it mean? The thing is, we are talking about a jnani here. A jnani is a wandering recluse. He has given up all desires for children, wealth, or other words, who sees everything from the cause, that is the prakriti or avyakta, all the way to every the moving and immovable things like trees and beings. He sees there is only one thing in everything. That means he does not see any multiplicity. He sees only one Atman everywhere. Such a person sees Atman in every being, and which is not different from anything. So there's one thing he sees. Shankaracharya says, just like how I am the witness of all experiences, and I'm conscious, right? And I'm the self of this body, which is an aggregate of products of matter and senses. In this form, that is in this way, I am verily the self of every being, starting from the causal unmanifested Prakriti to everything else. And one who sees this undifferentiated Atman in every being will not feel disgusted due to that very experience. What is that very experience? He only sees Atman and is connected to everything. So, Shankaracharya quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita to show that, look, there is a similarity here. Sarvabhutastamatmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. This is 6th chapter, 29 shloka. So once a person knows one experience of one Atman, there is nothing else to condemn, because nothing else exists to condemn or despise. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmanyeva bhut vijanatah tatra ko moha kashyokah ekatvam anupashyatah. This verse is the 7th verse, which says, which will directly take what Shankaracharya says about it. For the realized one, when every being has become Atman itself, everything has become Atman because he is realized. At that time, how can there be a delusion or grief? Delusion and grief are taken away. Only the ignorant ones feel or experience delusion, and they have delusion or grief. Not to the person who sees Atman like a sky, all pervading. So the mantra, according to Shankaracharya, the very fact that the Upanishad openly asks this question, how can there be delusion or grief? That means these two effects of avidya, when avidya is lost, everything is lost. That means only Atma exists. So the effects of ignorance is what you see as this universe. So this samsara exists because there is an illusion. If illusion is gone, avidya is gone, the samsara is gone, because there is no experience of this variety and transformations. So Jagat is mithya only to the knowledgeable person. Now, I just want to give you an example. That's a favorite example everybody uses, and Shankaracharya himself uses Rajju Sarpa analogy or a snake rope analogy. What he says is, look, in a dark place, when you have some ropes out there, A person who is walking nearby checks, sees, and maybe, because of the wind or something like that, the rope may be shaking. Suddenly he thinks that it's actually a snake. It is not a rope, but it's a snake. And he becomes so upset, and he starts shouting, running, and screaming because of fear. So, but actually that snake is not there. It's an illusion, right? So for a person who knows that there is no snake and it is just a rope, the imaginary snake has become the rope. So the snake was never there to start with. That imaginary snake has become the rope. That means that great person only sees Atman. Hence this universe, which involves birth, death, old age, greed, jealousy, hatred, love, attachment, and so on, are all products of illusion, not knowing truth properly. It's just avidyakrita. Hence, when this universe becomes this Brahman, or just dissolves into this Brahman due to knowledge, then this universe with all its products, effects, will dissolve to this jnani, and not to the person who is ajnani, who is doing karma, thinking about every day, looking at something new. Oh, today I got this, tomorrow I'm going to achieve that. A person who is thinking like that always sees reality around him. Meaning everything seems real to him. But really, actually, that is not real. Only knowledge or jnana can make this illusion go away. So the universal illusion will go away only with jnana. You cannot get rid of the snake by just beating it at it. Take a stick and start beating. The snake will not go away, because if you beat, because of the rope will move around, you think that the snake is still acting and trying to bite you. So karma cannot give release. No karma can get you any moksha. This is very clear. So jnanat moksha, only by knowing that there is nothing in this universe and only Atman, then you will get moksha. This analogy pretty much summarizes Shankaracharya's approach, and he himself mentions this analogy. Now we'll go further. Also watching the time, 8:36. Okay. Saparjaga chukram akayam branamasnaviram shuddham apapaviddam kavihi manishi paripuhu swayambuhu yata tatsito arthan vyadadati shashvati pyaha samabhyaha. In this, Shankaracharya explains about Atman, the nature of Atman, which is in a way pure, unconnected, and all those things. It is all pervading. It does not have any body, no wounds, no nerves, no sin, no papa, no ignorance, and can see everything. So this thing is, it has got positive features. What are they? It can see everything. It rules the mind of everybody, beyond everything, knows the true nature of everything. And this Brahman allocates the actions according to which the very creators, Prajapatis, Chaturmukha Brahma, and all those who came later, all these, they follow certain rules and regulations to maintain this universe, create, maintain, and sustain this universe. So here in this verse, it talks about Atman does not have a body, like a physical body. It is resplendent, Jyoti Swarupa. It does not have a Linga Sharira, that means inner organs, which include mind, prana, and others. Prana is the breath. Linga means identification mark. Okay. So Linga Sharira is required for the ignorant to know something, because without Linga Sharira they cannot identify, right? The true knowers of Atman don't need any Sharira or any kind of subtle body or gross body to know Atman. So it does not have Sthula Sharira, which is indicated by the terms no nerves and all those things, or no wounds. It is pure. So Brahman is pure. There is no seer other than Atman. He is beyond everything. He is Swayambhu, means he himself is there. Nobody needs to create him. He is there. He is eternally free, Nitya Mukta, Nitya Shuddha. So this is explained in the by Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya himself opens up the question, well, jnana and karma, or why can't we say jnana and karma can work together? Why should we take the jnana is separate path and karma is separate path? And how come why don't we take what the Upanishad directly is telling us? Upanishad is telling us in the next shloka, there are two terms called vidya and avidya. We'll come to the terms later. Just we need to understand there are two terms, vidya and avidya. If you follow only vidya, then you will get into darkness. If you only follow avidya, you will get into darkness. But you have to combine vidya and avidya together, then you will get good benefit. This is the general sense of the next three verses, which is known as the triad or the vidya avidya triad. The next three, a few verses. Shankaracharya says that these verses do not refer to jnana and karma the way originally the Upanishads talk about. In the Ishavasya Upanishad, Shankaracharya modifies the jnana, that is vidya avidya terms. The reason being, if he does not modify, then the Upanishad itself is prescribing combination of avidya and vidya as the right method. So if Upanishad is actually supporting the combination or samuchaya, jnana karma samuchaya, if Upanishad is actually trying to combine vidya and avidya, that means that this doesn't refer to the main jnana and karma which we talk about. The earlier we talked about jnana and karma. Through jnana, one becomes realized. Karma is avidya only for the ignorant people. That was established earlier. But in the rest of the Upanishad, Shankaracharya takes a deviation, saying that here the terms vidya and avidya are not like how it is used in the other Upanishads or other places. So we have to modify the meaning of vidya and avidya. That's what we're going to do here. That he will say exactly how. He says, Upanishad itself gives us the meaning. Vidyaya deva lokaha karmana pitru lokaha. It says, so karma is a separate. Using certain karmas, you can attain pitruloka. Vidya means focusing on the devatas. Devata jnana. So devata jnana you will attain through vidya, you attain devata jnana. So the term vidya is used specifically as devata jnana. Term avidya is used as karma. Karmana pitruloka. So these are separate paths. Pitruloka is a separate path. Devaloka is a separate path. So people, but both does not lead to Brahman. Why? Both are karmas. One is upasana, which is known as focusing on devatas or meditating on the devatas. It is actually upasana. Knowledge of Brahman, which is resulted, that is knowledge of Brahman, which is non-duality, the understanding of non-duality, realizing of non-duality, and realizing that Jagat does not exist, that cannot result out of combining any karma or upasana. That is, any karma and upasana, if you combine, the true realization of Brahman cannot come there. But these two will lead to a lower level amritatva. Amrita is used, the term Amrita has two meanings. Amrita can mean the highest, Amritatvam Ashnute. Even in the Kena Upanishad, the term Amrita means highest realization. But here in this Upanishad, Shankaracharya says he doesn't accept that it is the highest. It is a lower level of achievement, using only through karma marga and upasana marga. So the moment he says there is a goal to be achieved and I have to use the method to get to the goal, the moment you think that everything is illusory, The very difference between the goal and method to attain the goal is illusory, because there is only one Atman which is already attained. You need to just know about it. So there is no process to attain Brahman. You already are Brahman. So this combination of jnana and that is combination, if you combine true knowledge of Atman with any kind of upasana or karma, it doesn't work. It is foolish. It is like mixing darkness with light. You can't mix darkness and light, because it will become light anyway. You can't have together. They are both incompatible. So jnana on one hand and either karma or upasana on the other hand are both incompatible. This is mentioned nicely by Sachidanandendra Saraswati, who has written all the Shankaracharya works in Kannada, and he has written a number of Sanskrit works. I follow a lot of his books. I'm sure there are some controversies about his Mula Vidya and all those things. You don't have to worry about it, because they are not in the Prasthanatraya Bhashyas. Such controversies don't matter too much. They don't go into that actually. They may, but we will try to avoid. If some people have a different opinion, we will understand how to understand them. Okay, don't worry. Okay. So andam tamah pravishanti avidyam upasate tato bhuya. This is the triad again we talk about, right? If you follow one, you go to darkness, greater darkness if you follow the other. But if you combine, you're okay. What is this? So what samuchaya is okay? Upasana karma samuchaya is okay. How? Because there's a difference. Vidya and avidya are meditation on gods and karma, as already we talked about. So we don't have to worry about it. I think we have mentioned this already. Now we can come to the next triad. It talks about, similar to the Vidya Avidya triad, it talks about concepts called Asambhuti, Sambhuti. So if you only focus on Asambhuti, there is a problem. If you only focus on Sambhuti, there is a problem. If you combine Asambhuti and Sambhuti, you're okay. This is the general understanding of this concepts here. Think about it. These are all sadhana. If for the ignorant people, they have to do Veda karmas. And through Veda karmas, you can only go up to the secondary level, not the highest Brahman. The secondary level, how does it work? What does Shankaracharya say? Asambhuti means, he says, Prakriti, which is the Avyakrita. It's also known as Avyakrita. So those who meditate on Prakriti, which is also the Kama Karma Bija, that is the source of desires and actions, that is, he goes into blinding darkness, because there is no Brahman there. And they will never get knowledge of Brahman there. Similarly, those who delight in Sambhuti, Sambhuti is that which has happened, is the effect. And Sambhuti is Karya Brahma or Hiranyagarbha, that is the firstborn, is the creator. So the thing is, so if you focus on Hiranyagarbha, then that is Sambhuti. And there also there is a problem. So the thing is, Sambhava means attainment of powers. So through Sambhuti, you can attain powers like Anima, Garima, that is, you can become small or big, or you can hear things from far, you can know what is happening when you're not present somewhere very far away. There are supernormal powers you can get. So getting supernormal powers is one aspect of it. Asambhava, Asambhuti is the meditation on the undifferentiated. Still, that is Prakriti, that is the cause of this universe, Prakriti, matter. So if they focus on the root cause of matter, they will become Prakriti Laya. They will get absorbed into Prakriti. In the Yoga Shastras and in the Puranas, they say that is a horrible place to be. That is not knowledge. So both these can, if followed separately, will get into problems. So on meditation of Hiranyagarbha, normal powers can be achieved. Okay, by supernormal powers achieving, if you combine it, if you achieve supernormal powers, at least you will not have want of powers. So in that sense, mrityu, vinashena mrityum tirtva, the term mrityu, Shankaracharya says, it's crossing death means causing the want for so much, want for powers and so many things. That want will go away when you get those powers. Asambhuti is by meditation on the undifferentiated immortal Prakriti, the nature of Prakriti Laya. So the thing is, here Shankaracharya takes a small change in the Upanishad. He uses the word Sambhutyam, omitting the word asa, ed, there. There is a reason for it. We don't have to go today into that. So, in essence, the human and divine wealth, that is Manushi Vitta and the Daiva Vitta, they can only get you to the one level of dissolution into Prakriti. That is not true moksha. To get out of that, you have to get into Jnana Nishtha. And you have to give up all the ichhas, whether to achieve this, achieve that. You have to give up all ichhas. Then only you will get that, right? I have to finish Shankara Bhashya within a few minutes and then pick up the other Bhashyas, but we'll come to that. So there are twofold Pravritti Dharma, Nivritti Dharma we talked about, right? Nivritti Dharma is the Upanishad, the way of giving up everything and going to the forest kind of thing. Pravritti Dharma is nature of engagement in karma. So in Pravritti Dharma, you can only get up to the level of this Prakriti Laya or getting, divine powers and all those things. But Nivritti Dharma is the one which is supported by Upanishad as for the Jnani. And on the other hand, for the Pravritti Dharma, the best you can do is to go to the Devayana or what do you call Devayana Marga, Uttarayana Marga, and achieve and go to Brahmaloka. That is the maximum you can get, because that is the path of action, and that is what the Vedas and other things have prescribed as karmas. And through karma, you can only get up to Hiranyagarbhaloka or Brahmaloka. So by what route that this person gets immortality? So what does a Vaidika karma, what does he do? Garbhadana, from the procreation, that is also a particular karma, right? And then Antyeshti, that is a cremation, that's also a karma. And number of Vidyas, Upasana and lower Brahma, Upasana, all these things will only, when you combine everything, he will get to Brahmaloka or Hiranyagarbhaloka. And how is he, what route will he take? That is discussed in the Upanishad. He will only get immortality of dissolution into Prakriti. This immortality is not the real immortality. Okay? No. So such a person who is always in karma, the only way he has to get out of is, he has to get out and get to the Jnana Marga. Okay. Here, even the there is a meditation said in the last part of the mantras. Shankaracharya says that meditation is still for the karma margi, and the best he can get, he can only get he can meditate on Satya Brahman, who is in the orb of the sun, and he can go to Uttarayana Marga and with the permission of lower Brahman, and attain relative release. The release is twofold. The highest relief is by practice of devotion and karma. That is the lower release or moksha. The lower moksha is through upasana and karma. The higher moksha is through knowledge only, jnana moksha, right? That is the essence of the 15th to 18th shlokas. This Pushan Ekarsha and all, there are. This is what is the thing about Advaita. Now I'm going to show you how Vishishtadvaita understands it differently. The best way to say it is to the best way to do it is to just show you what are the differences in interpretation, because we cannot go through the whole interpretation of the Upanishad, because there's a lot of common understanding here. So what are the differences in the Vishishtadvaita approach here? Let me just focus on that. Here, just a second. Okay. Let me, from the beginning, just a second, I need to make sure I am sharing. Share screen. Can you see my screen? Just want to make sure. I guess you can. Yeah, now you can see, I think. Now, so these are the mantras of the, just a second. I think I showed the wrong, hold on a second. Okay. I'm just going to manage with this. Don't worry about it. I hope you can read Sanskrit. Otherwise, I'm just going to say this anyway. The main thing about Ishavasya, that is the Vishishtadvaita approach, is all the mantras pretty much have their own original meaning. Here, Ishavasya midam should not be taken as using Isha. Everything should be enveloped. Avasya, don't take it that way. Ishavasya midam means everything in this universe is fit to be ensouled by Brahman or Isha. Isha is Brahman is always Saguna for Vishishtadvaitis. Brahman is never Nirguna for Vishishtadvaitis. Right? So Brahman is always endowed with Kalyana Gunagana, Ananta, that is uncountable, auspicious qualities. And this universe is fit to be ensouled by him. And otherwise, hence, you have to give up, because this is not yours. Everything is owned by Isha. Isha is real. Isha has all gunas, auspicious qualities, no bad gunas, no blemishes, and he ensouls everything. Hence, you cannot say this property is yours. So whatever you enjoy with the feeling that it is not owned by you. It is given to you by Isha for a particular amount of time. That's it. These two verses apply to the same kind of aspirants. There are no two separate aspirants. So the Jnana Karma Samuchaya is allowed and accepted by Vishishtadvaita. Only Advaita does not allow the combination of Jnana and Karma. Here, Kurvannevehe Karmani Jiji Vishechatakam Samaha. Here it says that you have to be doing Karma Yoga. There is no other. Everybody has to do Karma Yoga. Pretty much everybody. Oh, there may be a small exception. And such a person is practically non-existent. So everybody to attain Brahman have to do Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is doing Shastra Vihita Karma or prescribed duties and dedicating the fruits of it to Ishvara or the Parabrahma, Brahman. So then if they don't do it, Asurya Namate Loka, Andena Tamsaha, they will go to hell, who are the killer of Atmans. Atmahano Janaha. Atmahano Janaha means there are killers of Atman, because though they don't recognize Paramatma as the Atman. They are non-believers of Paramatma. They will go to dark hell. Here again, this shows about the greatness and power of that Atman or Brahman. He has characteristics. He's faster than mind. He's all ever present everywhere, and nobody can. Tad dhavato anyanatyeti tishtate. So the thing is, even the devas cannot understand. The indriyas cannot understand him. He's far for the undevoted people. He is very near for the devoted people. So he responds to devotion, and he's all-pervading. The person who sees this Paramatma in everything, yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati, who sees Paramatma in everything, he will understand that everything is ensouled by Paramatma, so he does not despise anything. He does not have any jugupsa for anything. Maybe I should use from the current slide. I'll just use the. So here, Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atmaiva Bhut Vijanataha. Here, this Vijanataha means for during meditation, for the person in meditation, everything has become Brahman. That is, but still he's meditating. But everything has become Brahman. That is a knowledge there. Tatra ko moha koshaka ekatvam anupashyatah. He sees the oneness of everything. He does not have any delusion or grief. So this is the description of Brahman as all-powerful. And he created this Chaturmukha Brahma and assigned jobs for all those time, all of them. And everything is working according to the rules laid down by that Brahman. This andam tamah pravishanti avidya upasate is explained very simply in this. There is no complication because the words have their primary meaning. Vidya means jnana. Avidya means karma yoga. Karma is not vidya, is karma. And the right karma, according to this Upanishad, is karma yoga. So karma yoga, if you only do karma yoga without atma jnana, that is a waste. Hatam jnanam kriya hinam hatam ajnaninam kriya. This is the words they use. Hatam jnanam kriya hinam. Pure jnana without karma is not useful. Pure karma without jnana is not useful. You have to combine both of them. So the right knowledge and the karma, which is the flow of knowledge in a way. Karma and jnana work together. So here the samuchaya is accepted in a way. Not jnana karma samuchaya is not exactly accepted, where, like how other philosophers say. There are some other philosophers. We are not going to get into it, but there is a way that they can come. They are not opposed to each other. Let's put it this way. So the right path is not vidya or avidya. The right path is a combination. Avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya amritam ashnute. So the thing is using avidya, that is using karma yoga, you give up and you cross over mrityu or this mrityuloka, because you become pure and you will not do sins and you will not be born because of sins. Vidyaya amritam ashrute. Through jnana, you will get realization. This jnana is required for realization. So jnana is upasanatmaka jnana. Here, for all the people, in Vishishta Advaita, only upasana is important. That upasana also becomes bhakti. The bhakti and jnana become together. Right? So bhaktyatmaka also, devotion also, because there is always a separation between the Lord and the aspirant. Here, the next verse is asambhuti and sambhuti. There are two different words here, right? Andam tamah pravishantiye asambhuti upasate tato bhuye evate sambhutyagam rataha. Sambhuti means samam bonam of samadhi. Sambhuti means samyak bhuti. When the mind becomes totally focused on the upasya vastu, that is Paramatma. When a person sits in meditation, why does meditation come here? Because Karma Yoga leads to Dhyana Yoga in Bhagavad Gita. And Dhyana Yoga is meditation. And then it leads to Samadhi. And then you cannot directly get into Samadhi. Why? If you only focus on Jnana Yoga, your Purva Karmas and the mind becomes very disturbed because of Purva Karma, impressions in your mind. So you cannot focus on Atma, on Jivatma first. Focus on who you are, your own self, because Jivatma is separate from Paramatma in the Vishishtadvaita. So you cannot directly follow Jnana Yoga. You cannot directly follow Karma Yoga. Both does not lead to proper goal. If you do only karma without jnana, it becomes wrong karma. So we need to combine both. Here, sambhuti means samadhi. Asambhuti means not samadhi, that is winning over obstacles to samadhi. So there you combine winning over obstacles to samadhi through some special practices and achieving samadhi or direct realization of Paramatma as a final goal of the Ashtanga Yoga, right? That is the final goal. Anyadevahu sambhavata, that we already covered. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukha means, look, oh Lord, the Rajoguna is covering up and I cannot see your real face. Oh, take my Rajoguna away. Because I cannot remove my Rajoguna myself. I am inferior. You have to help me. Pushan ne apavrano satyadharmaya drishti, so that I can see the truth. Then, Pushan ne karshe amasurya prajapatya vyuharashmin samohate jaha, take away all the ignorance so that I can see you. Yosa vaso purushas soham asmi. Whoever is there in that Aditya Mandala, I am that person in the sense that he has ensouled me. I have nothing which belongs to me. He is the power behind me. He is the power behind everything I say, speak, think, exist. I am dead without him. In that sense, I am one with him. That's how Vishishtadvaita accepts, understands this. Vayuranilam amritam atedam basmandam shariram. Look, I'm dying. That is, the body will go away. And it becomes basma or burnt. Right? Please remember, before I leave this body, please remember what I have done. Kritosmara, kritam smara. You are the person who can remember and help me out. Agni nayasupata raye asman vishwani deva vayunani vidvan yodhyasmad juhurana no bhujishtante nama uktim vidhema. The last verse, according to Vishishtadvaita, is a fervent prayer of Sharanagati. That is, surrender to that Lord, who is known as Agni, Agram Nayati iti Agni, who takes us further, who takes us to the higher places, higher spiritual realms. Agni Naya Supataraye Asman, take me to the right path of Archiradi Marga, to Vaikunta, to experience you there in Vaikunta. Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidvan. So the thing is, there are so many paths, but make me choose the right path. Yodhi asmad juhurana meno bhuyishtante namuktim vidhema. Take me away from the crooked paths. The juhuranam, that is, enaha means the sins are very, very crooked. I cannot control my sins. Papa, they are very crooked. Only you can take away this problem. Bhuyishtamte Namauktim Vidhema. We give you salutations wholeheartedly, a lot of them. So this is the summary of the Vishishtadvaita approach to Ishavasya Upanishad. Now we'll quickly take up the Madhvacharya approach to this within 10 minutes. Within 5-10 minutes. I'm going to stop share. Oh, my computer works. Okay, now I'm going to share screen. Thank you for the 42 participants who are still here. Just we're going to cover the Advaita view in just a few minutes, because Dvaita view is not very different from Vishishtadvaita view. That is the advantage of Dvaita view. That is why even chronologically it has worked out that way. Advaita is a little complex to understand. We spend more time on Advaita. Vishishtadvaita is not complex to understand because there is no it forms like naturally it falls into place. Dvaita, we will see how Dvaita deals with it. Here let me just share screen. No. I'm going to do a slideshow. Just a second. For some reason, the computer is slow. Let me restart this, share this. I'm doing a stop share, and then I'm going to reshare it again. Sorry for my point of view. Then you say share. I have this share. I'll do a slide share from the beginning. It should work. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Just a second. I'm just trying to. For some reason it's now. Okay, I'm just going to. Oops, what is this? It's going to a different. It's a different one. Hold on a second. For some reason, it's not working for me. I don't know why. My computer is moving and the slideshow is not working for some reason. Okay, I'm just going to do it without any problem here, right? Don't worry about it because Madhvacharya Bhashya is very similar to Ramanuja Bhashya. There, Ishavasya sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagate tera tyaktena punjita hamagrata kasyas vidhanam. He takes it exactly similar. That is, Isha ensouls everything in this universe. Everything is dependent on Isha, controlled by Isha. In that sense, he takes, right? And kurvan neve karmani jijivishe, there is no other way than doing karma as a requirement and as a worship of Paramatma. And the Asurya Namate Loka is similar. That is, they will go to if they don't recognize Ishvara, they will become they will go to Naraka. The nature of Paramatma is explained in the next few shlokas. Yes, to Sarvani Bhutani Atmanyevanupashyati. He just says that he just focuses on Paramatma. That's all. Madhvacharya does not believe that Atma becomes everything in this universe. So he takes it in a different way. Anupashyata means still he's saying there are two things to see, right? Anupashyata means there is a seen and a seer. So there is no problem. There is Bheda, Advaita. And here in the triad of avidya and vidya, he says, the andam tam pravishanti avidyam upasate. There avidya means condemnation or censure of vidya. Vidya is the right knowledge. And avidya is censure of wrong knowledge. So if anything, see, he says that a person has a responsibility for the society. That society should not do mistakes. So if somebody is doing a mistake, you should guide them and say you're doing and you should in fact warn them not to get there. So that is how, so you have to combine your warning and also having the right knowledge. That's how Madhvacharya understands this. Then, there's a natural combination of censure of wrong knowledge and using the right knowledge to achieve Paramatma. The Asambhuti things, the way Madhvacharya says is, Asambhuti is not creator. That is, if you meditate on the Lord Krishna, Hari, as not the creator, then there is a problem. Asambhuti. Asambhuti Mopasde means he did not create this universe. If you worship Krishna like that, gone. If you worship him as the only creator, Sambhuti, that means only Sambhuti, he is only creator and nobody else. He does not destroy. Then there is a problem. The same person is a creator and a destroyer. And you have to only think that Brahman is the destroyer and the creator. If you combine both of these meditations, then it will work. And so these triads are explained in a very simple way. Here there's a small change. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya apihitam mukham. Here, yosa asau purushasso hamasmi. Right? This verse, the person in this center of the orb of sun is the same as me. How does this aham? He is me. If the Upanishad itself is saying he is me, Ramanujacharya says that no, he is actually the power behind me. So in that sense, he is me. But how does Madhvacharya takes that? He says, so saha aham asmi. Saha is that person, that is Ishvara, who is in the center of the sun. Aham means aheyam. That means it is blemishless. Aham can be understood in Sanskrit as aheyam, that which does not have any blemish. Asmi is nistya astita manat. So it is always there. Asmi means ever existent. He is nitya, and so Parabrahma is nitya and also blemishless. That is how he says. He just says that this aham is not the I or the jivatma here. Next verse, Vayuranilam amritam athedam basmantam shariram. Here, Madhvacharya takes it very simply. Here he brings in the concept of Mukhya Prana, which is Mukhya Prana is the Shuddhatma of that is see, Madhvacharya believes in hierarchy among the gods, Devata Taratamya, right? The highest Devata is Vayu or Prana or Prana Devaru, they say, right? So the person, the Parabrahma, ensouls the Mukhya Prana also. So does he ensoul everybody else. He controls everybody. Everybody is dependent on Paramatma, Hari. And even Mukhya Prana is also dependent on Hari. This Agnenaya Supataraya Asman is taken as a prayer to the Lord to take us in the right path and avoid the wrong paths, because sinful paths or the papa paths are difficult for us to get out of. So it is asking prayer for that Lord Hari to get us out of these problems and take us in the right path. That's all it is. So we have 3 acharyas. I'm going to stop share now. So the sharing is stopped. Still 41 people are there as participants. I really appreciate you being here. I hope I made any sense or some sense. And last 1 or 2 minutes, I will, we are going late, just 1 minute. All this can be reconciled also, and there is a way to reconcile in my I don't have time for that. In my classes, I do it. And by the way, I'm going to teach this as a complete course in the Hindu University of America shortly. That is on the 14th of January. People who are interested can register for that course. I really thank Indica for giving me this opportunity to talk about the summary of these three views on the Ishavasya Upanishad. It is a tough job. I hope I made some sense and made you understand something. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Krishnaji. A very wonderful and very concise presentation. I think that is a very, very difficult job, you know. It is one thing to go in depth into all this matter, but it is very difficult to summarize them. I think you have done a very wonderful job in doing that summary. Viewers, if you have any questions, please put it in Q&A box, and we will take it a few questions. Let me read out one of the questions we have received. The doctrines given out by Upanishads, do we just accept them as a matter of faith and memorize them, or are the truths verifiable as facts of life? Since truth is one, do we really need to go into how various intellects of various acharyas have interpreted the truth and engage in an intellectual exercise?
Thank you for the question. See, the Upanishad says, Atmava drashtavyo shrotavyo mantavyo nidhidyasitavyaha. That means, Upanishad says, you have to realize Brahman. Drashtavyaha. You have to realize Brahman. Shrotavya, mantavya means you have to hear the Shastras, mainly Vedas, Upanishads. Hear them. Shrotavyo, mantavyo, contemplate. Nidhidyasitavyaha. You have to meditate and then achieve that. So this is the process, right? You can just trust an acharya and just follow that. That's also fine, because we may say that we don't have the capacity to evaluate or compare or do things like that. So I'm sure, but there is no doubt that hearing Shastras, knowing about Shastras is step one. Step two is contemplation, manana. Step three is nididhyasana. This is the traditional method of achieving success, spiritual success.
Another question that we have received, I think it's a series of questions. Perhaps you could read it. And the question by Subramaniam Dharbaji. Can you read, Krishnaji, the questions?
I don't see any of the questions here. Is it in a yeah. Hold on a second. I open it. Yeah. 1 second. Ravindra Murthy is there. Very good. So one more thing I want to add for the first question is, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam susukam kartum avyayam. This is not a story I am talking to you about. That's what Krishna says in the 9th chapter. All the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, or any paths, any sadhana, you can realize Paramatma. You can realize what is said there. So it is not just story. It is actual truth which is verifiable, but people have to follow, find the path and do it. Just by studies, it is not going to work. They have to follow and do. That is why sadhana. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is, Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. Yoga is sadhana. Even in the Ishavasya Upanishad, it is sadhana. Ishavasya Upanishad has 18 verses which represent the essence of Bhagavad Gita, which has 18 chapters. Now, coming back to Subramaniam Darbaji's question. These questions pertain to Shankara Bhashya. Mantra 1, desires, wealth, attachment belong to samsara. You pointed to, why not Sarva Dharma Varjita as against Sarva Samsara Varjita? What other dharmas are you alluring to beyond those in samsara? Okay, we cannot even think of any dharmas which are not connected to samsara. So you don't have to worry about it. See, this is a complex question. If you take all attributes out of an object, how do you denote it? Then Vedas can never even talk about it or not even mention anything about it, because it is Sarva Dharma Varjita. If it says that which possesses nirguna, then becomes problem. Shankaracharya, you are right in the sense that Shankaracharya says it's beyond all our imaginations. It has to be, it is never an object. It is always a subject. That's what Shankaracharya says. So the thing is, it's achievable, right? Brahma can have, you can have sakshatkara about Brahma, right? So something which is achievable will become some attribute, right? So nirguna can be justified 100%? Is the question. That is beyond, one thing, I don't have the answer for you, to be honest with you. If I had the answer, I would know more than Ramanujacharya, Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya put together, which is, I'm not at all there. I'm just a beginner. This is something we should discuss, think, manana, and a right guidance, you should get to know what it is. Second, what are dharmas? Is performance of Agnihotra same as Yajna? There are a number of Agnihotras given there, right? Karmana Pitrulokaha. There are certain kind of yajnas, pravargya. From the pravargya is the last kind of yajna or something. So isn't the same as removal of Rajoguna, prescription of Vishishtadvaita? Is performance Agnihotra same as Yajna? So isn't the same as removal of Rajoguna, prescription of Vishishtadvaita, and no alternative to perform karma of Dvaita? I'm not understanding this question. Removal of Rajoguna is for all acharyas accept it. And no alternative to performing karma of Dvaita. Karma of Dvaita, what is karma of Dvaita? I don't understand this. Mantra 1 also says, don't covet others' wealth. What does this really mean? Does it mean you are already that which you are seeking? See, the thing is, that is fine. If you take Shankara Bhashya, that is perfectly fine what you are saying. There is no doubt about it. Mantras 15 to 18 do this. Mantras means here is the scene. According to Shankara, yes. What is below and what is above, everything is one. The path is same as the goal. So that is perfectly okay according to Shankaracharya's views. Grateful if you can share your PPT file. Yes, I can share my PPT file. References to your talk. I have to write up the references. I will write the references and I can send it to you. It's very simple. It's all over the place. It's available on archive.org. Any other questions? I cannot see. Oh, no, I can go down. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there is one question about summarizing 3 sentences between 3 matas. Differences between 3 matas.
One sentence in Advaita, at the end, when you become Jnani, there is only one Atman, and you are that. And so no karmas can get you there. You just have to know it. And for all the people who cannot realize Atman, they have to do karmas and dhyana, upasana and everything. It's for the rest of the people. That is Shankara view. Vishishtadvaita view is Ishvara, or the Lord, or Brahman, is the person who controls everything. From there, everything comes into being. He is responsible for everybody, why it is happening, to whom it is happening, everything. He is powering everybody. So understand that everything belongs to him and respect him, achieve him. Only through him you can get moksha. So you have to surrender to him to get moksha. In Dvaita, you have to, it is very similar. He is the independent and everybody else is dependent, and he is only independent. So in Dvaita, you have to go through karma, upasana, bhakti to get sakshatkara. Only Hari can give you moksha. And that moksha is even their separation. In Dvaita, even in moksha, there is no kind of, you will not come back to the cycle of births and deaths, but you will be separate from Hari. That's what it is. Next is,
I think that's it. I had a question, Krishna ji.
Yeah.
I had a question. In the context of your study of the 3 acharyas' perspective in Ishavasya Upanishad, how do you say have you studied other sampradayas also? For example, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, or for that matter, Sri Aurobindo has written a English commentary on Ishavasya Upanishad. So how do you see their teachings in the context?
And also Osho Rajneesh has written a Ishavasya commentary. There are, see, even classical commentaries wise, there are so many, right? For example, Uvata, a person called Uvata, who is a Mimamsaka, who is a Advaiti, but he disagrees with Shankara Bhashya, and he writes it as a Mimamsa Bhashya. Okay, so this has been there for a long time. Come to Yoga Vasishta. Yoga Vasishta does not follow the Advaita Jnana Karma Samuchaya, the Jnana Karma separation. It follows Jnana Karma Samuchaya, which is like the Vishishta Advaita and Dvaita views. That is Yoga Vasishta. But it is purely Advaitic text. Right? So what it is I have made some attempts to study ISKCON view. And in ISKCON view, they take a lot between 4 acharyas. They take 4 sampradayas: Vishnu Swami, Nimbaraka, Ramanuja Sampradaya, Madhu Sampradaya. Madhu Sampradaya is a Pradhana Acharya for ISKCON. They combine views of this, and they have something which enhances their. Finally, there is Radha Krishna kind of worship of Krishna, and then Madhurya Bhava is the highest for them. So they enhance that. They will get it from their kind of view. See, ISKCON basically puts a lot of what do you call, emphasis on some Puranas, Padma Purana, some different Naradiya Purana, and different Puranas. So they have a slightly different approach to that. So all these are sampradayas, and there is a verse called Purana Itihasabhyam Vedam Samupabramhayet. Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Samupabramhayet. So strong, we have to understand how the great rishis of the past, like Swayambhuva Manu, or anybody in the Puranas, how they have understood, and we have to follow. Some of these acharyas give a lot of importance to such Purana Itihasas. So there are definitely different views. In Vishishta Advaita alone, there are 5 different Ishavasya Bhashyas.
Thank you, Krishnaji. I think we are already time, so I just want to take one last question from one audience. A reconciliation of 3 matas in brief, is it possible? I think in the context of Ishavasya Upanishad, you should just.
It is possible. Reconciliation is possible. But that you have to ask yourself, will you accept a reconciliation? How do you get to this reconciliation, right? If somebody says, I will reconcile, it is all I can say is one of my Gurujis told me this, and he is a very, very, very well-read and even a yogi and all those things. He says that Shankaracharya flew to the goal like a bird path. A bird sees a fruit, Shankaracharya just goes directly to the fruit. Forget about how the path is and all those things. On the other hand, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they know that most people cannot take that path. The rest of them have to go step by step. They say you follow the path of the pipilika or ant, which goes step by step, go to this tree, climbs up the bark of the tree, and then comes to the fruit and then eats the fruit. So there are 2 different methods. So Shankaracharya focus on the other acharyas focus on different. Even Shankaracharya says karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti, everything is necessary because most of us are ajnanis. So really speaking, there is not much difference. You want to make it a big deal. Oh my God, he is wearing a forehead like this, and he's wearing some marks like this. I can't even come close to this guy. He is my enemy. If you have the superficial, stupid way of looking at it, there are so many problems. You can be upset with everybody, your neighbor and everybody. But if you try to understand, all these acharyas helped us. Shankaracharya came in a different time. Buddhism was very prominent. He had to protect Vedas, the Veda Pramanya, the validity of Vedas. So he took a lot of time for that. And then later acharyas focused more on bhakti and things like that. So each acharya had a different job to do. And I'm delighted to say my acharyas have taught me different shastras. and I'm enjoying every one of them. There is no conflict in my mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Krishna ji, for a wonderful session as well as wonderful responses and discussion. It was a very enlightening session, and thank you for that on behalf of our entire team and all our viewers.
Namaste. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Namaste, Nitinji. You're doing a super job. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Viewers, do follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates about our upcoming sessions. With this, we conclude the session. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha.
Thank you.